Hey everyone, and welcome back to Community Builds in Scrap Mechanic. There are thankfully a few builds today, but a couple of them aren't working. Surf by is5fo. They listed what seemed to be all the mods for it, but apparently still missing one or two. I forgot to plug in my headphones. Trophy Truck by Q9Q12 is also missing something, but I don't know what. Hopefully, just having plugged in my headphones doesn't mess anything up. But, either way, taking a quick look in the blueprint viewer thingy, the Surf by is5fo looks really good. Looks like it has a turbocharged inline 6, independent front suspension, some interesting stuff going on with it. Quite a bit of logic under the hood as well. Looks like there's exhaust bits missing, but I'm not sure which mod that would be from because they should all be installed. And then same with whatever they're using for the chassis. Looks like it has a 4-link rear suspension with a bit of a trailing arm setup. And then quite a nice interior with a little roll bar, but there's clearly some parts missing, so hopefully they can tell which ones are missing from this. The grill looks like it's missing. Got a little bit of glitch welding too. But just from this little preview, it looks pretty good. And then with Trophy Truck 5, it looks like some of the main blocks are missing still, but it has a supercharged V8. Nice looking suspension with, I was going to say it looks like it has bump stops, but these are probably the reverse springs. Independent front with a 4-link in the rear, trailing arm setup, antennas on the back. A basic but nice looking trophy truck chassis. So, I'm going to go to I'm going to leave this one for last, because it's massive and will probably take a bit, and go to First Truck by M. Hansen. There is no description, but it looks like a big, Dakar style truck. And I mean big, like it's huge. Body looks really good. It looks like it's all vanilla. I'm pretty sure it's all vanilla. It was in the vanilla builds section. It kind of looks like it might be a Volvo or something. Not sure what that would be. Probably the logo. Got windshield wipers, something hanging down in the front there. We have beam front suspension, which looks like it's going to have a ton of suspension travel. Actually, that's more of a normal A-arm type with different length arms. Either way, it's going to have a lot of travel. Lots of weight down low. And then it has a rear 3-link with an interesting link setup yet again. Or suspension setup, I should say. Adjustable. Full tube chassis. And then we've got some storage and stuff, it looks like, on the sides. Bed and whatnot. And then inside, we have a little bathroom, what could be a shower or something. We've got our engine and logic and stuff over here. And in the front, we have our seats. Not sure what these pistons do. Going to press 1. What does 1 do? 1 is lights, top lights, and then 2 is warning lights kind of thing. Okay. That looks like it's 2 of these switches. What'd that do? That moved those pistons. Which seems to be moving a lot of stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff, because seats just dropped down. That dropped down. I'm going to reset it with the lift. So those pistons probably have something to do with the suspension and ride height, because now it's back up. Interesting. And that is it. So let's take it for a little drive. Ooh. You've got a little tow hook on the front, it looks like. Ooh, slow steering. I'm kind of surprised at how slow the steering is. Is that hooked up normally? It is, so you just changed some of the settings. It's probably fast, so you'd want to have a slower steering. I am on the proper community builds world, but unfortunately again today I don't have a ton of time, so I'm not going to do a whole lot of driving around. Looks like it either has... Oh, it does use mods for the fenders. Interesting. I didn't think it used any mods, but it does. Again, that's going to be last. But yeah, this thing is definitely fast for its size. Lots of suspension travel. It actually handles really well. Nice and smooth. There's a lot missing from this tile. Not much body roll, which is nice. Lots of suspension travel, like I said. It handles really well. I'm surprised with how big it is. It's really fast and surprisingly good. It looks really cool too. Go through the corn and see what happens. Handles it with no problem at all. Bottomed out a little bit there, but that was also a pretty hard hit. But unfortunately, as I said, I don't have much time, so I'm going to go back, go to the next build. Looks like an exhaust stack on the left. Looks like an exhaust stack on the left with an air intake through the cab. And yeah, this is cool. Huge. It's a little hard to drive because of how slow the steering is, but it's better than having it so fast that it's really twitchy and hard to drive. You just have to turn a little bit earlier with this. You can see there how well it just soaks up the bumps and jumps and stuff. This is fun to drive. We had a lot of fun. But I need to move on to the next one, unfortunately. Pretty loud too. I'm surprised with only having what looks like to have one engine, how loud it is. Yeah, this thing's huge. Like, really big. I'm kind of surprised at how big this is. But I need to move on to the next one. So I'm going to stick this right here and load Trophy Truck Chassis by King Ralph. Pretty much my first suspension-oriented vehicle, and overall pretty happy with how it came out. But let me know if there are problems and how I would fix them. Okay, this looks like it is mostly vanilla, and it looks pretty good. Independent A-arms on the front, simple tube chassis with a 3-link on the rear. You don't need quite so many bearings, just for like lag-wise and whatnot, but really good. Got a little bit of glitch welding, it looks like. Quite a good looking chassis. Reminds me more of a stadium truck than a trophy truck, but this is nice. Suspension could probably be a little bit stiffer, but aside from that, it's nice and fast. It handles pretty good. It's predictable, it hasn't rolled. But yeah, it could just use a little bit of suspension tuning for the bumps and jumps. But with how simple it is at the moment, I'm not complaining. It seems to have minimal suspension glitch. Clearly all-wheel drive. Yep. And overall, it just looks pretty good. It drifts a little bit. And then it just straightens right back out. It wants to go straight. Usually with creations going this fast, they're a little bit slidey, but this surprisingly just goes straight. This is great. You could use bump stops or something. Just a little bit of work on the suspension, but other than that, I'm kind of surprised at how it just goes straight. And I don't mean like when the wheels straighten out, it goes in a straight line. Like, it wants to go straight. It understeers a little bit, which could just be a bit of like center of gravity and engine power and stuff, and being all-wheel drive. I'm going to try something really quick and take the power off of the front wheels just to see what happens, whether it helps it or not. Oh yeah, it drifts more. It definitely drifts more like this, but it doesn't understeer as much. All-wheel drive vehicles and scrap tend to understeer. All-wheel drive vehicles in general tend to understeer. Whenever you have front power to the front wheels, it's kind of weird. But yeah, especially with making this only all-wheel drive, it handles a little bit better. I have to let off to keep it from sliding around too much. But yeah, this is awesome. Especially for your first suspension-oriented vehicle. This is really good. I like it. I would definitely like to see it with... Oh my goodness. My sinuses and stuff are still all stuffy, so I'll try and cut out all my coughing and stuff as usual, but that's why I keep pausing. And the audio probably keeps cutting out. Either way, this is a lot of fun to drive. I would love to see it with a body on it, and just a little bit of work to help it suspension-wise. But other than that, it's awesome. Whether it's from it being a little too soft, or just needing bump stops or whatever, I'm not exactly sure. I haven't done suspension in this in quite a long time. But yeah, for what it is right now, this is really good. And it's quite predictable, especially after I took the power away from the front wheels. It's doing everything I want it. I let off, it stops sliding, I turn and hit the throttle, and it just spins. Which is kind of to be expected. Yeah, definitely like, a lot of fun. It'd be fun to race these. This would be a good little race truck. Nice and simple, fast, and handles well. Awesome. Not a whole lot else to check out with it, so I'm going to move on to the next one. And yeah, you definitely don't need all those bearings. You could use one bearing there instead of 3. Oh, interesting. So yeah, you could use one of those bearings, and then I might add a bearing there, just to help it with side-to-side stuff. Reduce a bit of possible glitch and whatnot. But I need to move on to the next one, which is now a big TV. And technically it was the first one, but as I said, it's big, so I wanted to leave it to last because it was going to take longer. This is ColecoVision Breakout No Mods by Lucy Digger. Easy to play. Place back on the left once spawned. Rotate the bottom small dial to have the better number display pop out for easier viewing. Paddle left and right, A and D. 1 is start, 2 is reset. So it looks like it is Pong or something. put it back on the lift once spawned, which I technically did. Does it run on the lift? Because it's supposed to stay on the lift? If it has any moving parts, it's not going to work while on the lift, so I'm going to run it off of the lift. But let's start off with the ColecoVision itself. For anyone that doesn't know, a ColecoVision is a very old gaming console, like one of the first ones. So this would be... Looked like that was turning. Oh, it does turn! So this would be one of the controllers. They were permanently wired in, basically, except they had this little tray you can tell that they kind of sat in when they weren't being used. And then they had like a joystick and then buttons, as you can tell. And then I'm not sure if it had a separate keyboard or something. That might have been the Commodore. So I'm not exactly sure what all of this is. Sure what that button... Oh, that's the reset button. Okay. And then your game cartridge would go here. And then there was other... The main controls were here, I'm pretty sure. And then this was just like Coleco and whatnot. And then your controllers and probably like an air vent or something. And then, as you can tell, there's super wiggly, because the cable was probably one of those rounded twisty things, so it was extendable. I could have just used that to come up. And then, yeah, controller, with your buttons and your analog stick and such. And then your super old, like 70s, 80s CRT TV, made up with lights. And I'm not sure, but it might even be RGB. And this looks like it's not Pong, but like Breakout or whatever it's called, where this will come down slowly and you use the paddle to bounce the ball up and break the blocks. We have what would be like the power buttons, and then the channel and volume and such, speaker grill, old wood style finish, back of where the ray gun would be for the cathode ray tube. Wow. This even looks like... Normally these would have like a bunny ear style of antenna that would connect here, and then you'd have to use a special adapter that connected to it for your consoles and stuff, and they even included that. Here's the power cable. Yeah, you even included the converter and everything. Here's the power for the console. This has so much detail. This is awesome. And then, this was also apparently wired all by hand, which is nuts. Like, absolutely crazy. I don't think there's a proper way to get into it, so I'm just gonna kind of go like this and hope it doesn't break. Because I think everyone's gonna want to see inside. So yeah, you've actually got your audio coming from where it should, which is awesome. And then all of the logic for the screen. We've got the screen with its logic bits there. Oh, that's so disorienting. And then all of the crazy logic in here. Sensor for something. Oh, that's probably for the left and right of the paddle. So this is like the main input here. That is probably some kind of timer. And then, yeah. There'd be like some kind of memory, basic CPU stuff. This is crazy. This is probably the main screen on the back. You can see the different colors there. This is crazy. These pipes probably help with how everything works. Not like actually working, but keeping track when wiring it. This is crazy. Wow. There's so much going on in here. and probably some kind of like score readout or something up here. Pistons to lift that up for some reason. I wonder when that'll lift up. So yeah, let's try it out, because this is crazy. Right, we have 1 for starting, 2 for reset, and then controller. So, let's try it out. It's a little hard to see. The sun's shining on it, so I'm going to see if I can turn it away from the sun. So, there we go, that should be a bit easier. If I could, I would change it to nighttime, but I can't at the moment. It's a tiny bit easier to see. I'll zoom in with post-processing. And it even makes all the sounds. Let's see if the blocks break. Oh, they do! And I scored a point. I love when people make games within games, especially with the logic and stuff. Like in Scrap. Or Redstone in Minecraft. What happens if I go all the way to the side? It just kind of stops. That's good. So not only does it have to... Oh, I lost. Not only does it have to display stuff and move things when it moves, but it also has to keep track of where it is, detect when the little ball thing gets to the blocks in the top. It has to detect when the ball hits the bottom, like... There's a lot going on with this. It's a little hard to see. It'd be easier at night. I would either change the color of the ball or make it brighter somehow. And I have a feeling it's not going to drop down the blocks, but you never know, it could. This is awesome. But I unfortunately have other stuff to do today, so I can't play around with this too much, but I highly recommend you check this out. I always recommend you check out what's sent into community builds, but this is just crazy. I think this is one of the, if not the most intricate things ever sent into community builds. Like, this is nuts. And I could just sit and mindlessly play this for hours, so who knows, maybe tomorrow or something I will play around with this and see how far it gets. See if I can make it glitch or something. It's a little hard to see the score readout on the top. But yeah, I'm not complaining, this is crazy. And I lost. So yeah. This is just amazing. But I need to, unfortunately, end the video here. So, as always, if you have a creation you think is awesome or just want to show people, it can be literally anything, as you can tell. Whether it's a vehicle, a garage, a restaurant, or a working game console and TV. Send it in. Upload it to... Yeah. Put it onto the lift. Upload it to the workshop. Ooh, what have I not uploaded yet? So yeah. Take your creation, hit share, and then on the workshop page, make sure that it can be seen with at least the link. It doesn't have to be fully private, but at least the link so I can see it when I come to record community builds. And then if it uses any mods, on the right side will be a spot that says required items or something. And in there, you should be able to list all of the mods that... Okay then. By the way, In there, when you click on it, it should list all the items you're subscribed to and just link all the mods that are used for the creation. And then you can either send it in the comments of this video, into my Steam group, which I don't really use anymore, but you can, or you can follow the Discord link in the description and submit it to either vanilla community builds under Scrap Mechanic for vanilla stuff, or modded community builds for modded stuff. So yeah, that's that, and this is just crazy. Like, you can see the TV further than you can see the pipe going to the controller. By the way, as always, awesome creations. I hope you enjoy them as much as I have, and as always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.